please. So, hello everyone, Dr. Taha-Tijerina. It is very much an honor to have you as our first guest of Line Talks. We're looking forward to making this speaker series a collaborative networking effort, hub of ideas and vision between UTRGV, world scholars, and our community to grow educational opportunities.
My name is Lazo Romero.
And I'm John Escareño, and we will be your host for today. So I believe since we did run slightly bit late, it might be best just to hop into it. So first, we have some questions about your professional background. What first made you want to become an engineer?
I think that, well, since I was a little boy, I was so curious about how things work. So when I was a little boy, I disassembled a lot of things, radios and electronic cars and all that. So probably my parents were not too happy about that, but well, I was able to disassemble those things. But then the issue was that when I assembled them, they didn't work. So, well, anyway, so I think that from there it started. When I was a little boy, my parents and family always encouraged me to pursue something that I like, something that I love. And well, basically since middle school or high school, I have had very good professors in math, in chemistry, algebra, and so on. So probably that kind of focused me into those fields. Yeah.
So this has been very much a sort of lifelong effort for you to get to where you are.
Yes, exactly.
Very impressive. All right. What would you say are some of your greatest accomplishments as an engineer?
Well, I believe that I think first of all would be to obtain a degree, my undergrad degree as an engineer, a mechanical engineer, first of all. And then I think also reaching for a graduate studies. Actually, I am a former UTPA. That time it was called University of Texas Pan American. I am talking about 2002, 2004, when I graduated from the master's degree. Then I went to work for a very good company, very well recognized, GE Energy. And then, well, of course, getting married and later on earning a PhD degree. After that, I applied for industrial jobs and also academic jobs. So I'm a professor and researcher as well. So I think those could be the greatest accomplishments in my career.
So you got very much a legacy to leave behind then.
Yeah.
That sounds amazing. So I have a question for you, Doctor. So
yes.
People are always looking for new innovations and the next big idea. So how do you get the inspiration for your ideas, and what motivates you to keep going when you can't find inspiration?
Yeah, you know what? First, I think that I am blessed to have very good advisors or mentors that are my friends now. One of them was Professor Dr. Karen Lozano from UTRGV now. During my master's degree, she was my advisor, and she's my inspiration also in a lot of things I have done. Also, another professor who was my advisor in my PhD program, Pulikela Jayan. Both of them work in a very high level with a lot of students, promoting good values in people and creating a good collaboration network worldwide. So that I think that in that sense, that's the scheme that I learned to work with, and that's something I also work at this time. Again, I'm very curious and I like to explore new things. So also I contribute with young engineers. Because I usually like to call the students that go into engineering young engineers more than just simple students, because they are there and they are having a lot of effort working. Some of them work and also study, so double the effort, right? Because they're doing both things at the same time. So I think those would be the how can you say this, inspiration for me in my ideas. Yes.
It sounds like your professors and young engineers really inspire you. That's really good.
Yeah.
I'm really glad that you're able to step a stone into that. And while pursuing your career, did you ever encounter any major setbacks? For example, did you go to the college that you wanted to? Did you ever want to be something else instead of what you are now? And also, do you believe that something helped you? What helped you overcome these setbacks? Would you say that it was personal determination, ingenuity, or the help of friends and family?
Okay. I think that As a major setback, I don't think so. I went to the college I wanted, yes. And honestly, if I could get back in time, most probably I would get or follow the same path as I did, in the sense of choosing my major and exploring, also having graduate studies in material science, manufacturing engineering. I have always had support from my parents, my family, now my wife and my kids. They encourage me to continue working and helping young engineers, students to grow, learn, and be better. So in that sense, yes, of course, the help of my family is a big support for me.
Yeah, definitely. Family is the biggest inspiration for everyone, I think.
Yeah.
Completely agree. So, what aspects of your life do you believe that engineering has enhanced the most?
What aspect of my life? I think that could be communication is a good thing that you need to to have in a good way. Trust, confidence, uh, ethics. All these together will give you the skills and the way of work in a good sense for everybody. I think that those would be.
So, it's really engineering has very much enriched your life then.
Yeah.
So, as an engineer, what ongoing research excites you the most, if allowed to share?
As an engineer, well, one of my research is based on, I call it thermal transport and tribological application. So basically, I work with nanofluids. Now with the aid of nanotechnology, I work with nanofluids and nanolubricants for thermal transport, so for thermal conductivity and dissipation of heat in different manufacturing processes. Working also together with natural or environmentally friendly fluids and lubricants. So that's one of my main topics for research. So that's also something that I follow with some students in that way, right? So going into that.
That sounds really interesting. I'm really glad that you were able to share that with us. And as you may know, we are an international school, and one of our skills we consider most important in our education is to be able to communicate and collaborate with people from across the world. And we know originally that you're from Mexico, so we wanted to ask you some questions about your experience working with different countries.
Yeah.
Do you think being a Mexican-born engineer has had any impact on your opportunities or paths in the field of engineering? Was there ever any culture shock when working with other engineers from different backgrounds?
Yeah, actually, well, I was blessed to obtain a scholarship to pursue, first of all, during my undergraduate studies, I obtained a scholarship. And then for my master's degree, I also obtained a scholarship, but it was from the National Science Foundation in the United States.
Okay.
And then for my PhD studies, I also got another scholarship. So as you can see, I own to the society a lot of stuff. Basically, all my background as a student, it has been from scholarship. So my PhD studies went through the CONACYT, which is in Spanish is Consejo Nacional de Ciencia y Tecnología. It's very similar to the National Science Foundation from the United States. Mm-hmm. So I obtained that scholarship. And as a cultural shock, yes, absolutely. I think that mainly when I was pursuing my PhD degree, I was in a group. We were around 80 to 100 persons in that research group. And there were people from China, from Taiwan, Japan, from India, also a lot of people from India, from Russia, Belgium. There were only another girl from Mexico, myself from Mexico, a couple of people from the United States. And as you can see, a lot of people from everywhere. So wow. Yes, it's very complicated to adapt to all those conditions. So as a recommendation, I think that working in a multicultural environment, yes, of course, it's hard, but it kind of nurture your knowledge and also your skills, how to deal with different cultures in this case. With also, for instance, I had some classmates or lab mates in this case, from different ages. So there were people there, undergrads, so I don't know, 18, 19 years old, people that had a master's degree, they were around in the 20s, people in the 30s, they were some, I would like to say, older professors, also visiting scholars as well from everywhere. So yeah, it's complicated, but at the end, I think that it's part of you to adapt to that and also learn from that as well.
Yeah, I feel like working with other cultures definitely helps in the integration of like, your experiences, which is really good.
Yeah.
So there's a sort of stereotype out there that most engineers are introverts. Would you kind of agree with that?
Yeah, I think most of us kind of introverts. Yeah, I agree. It's sometimes it's complicated because everyone wants to just be sitting on their own. I would like to say like a bubble, but eventually, I mean, it's also like in my case, I learned that a person alone cannot do all the work by himself or herself. So you need support from others. That's something true. In that case, then you need to trust on others as well. You need to have confidence on others. So at one time, we were all learning to do our work, and we had or have mentors, as I was mentioning earlier, or someone who helped us in some way. In my case, when I started, I had kind of a little help from others. So you need to find your way. You need to find from machinery or devices suppliers, or from professors in university, or professors outside university, or from, I don't know, from whatever you can find. So yeah, I think that you need to look for the right people to help you, because again, you need help from others for sure.
So while being an extrovert can be beneficial, really being an extrovert is what gets you farther. And not an extrovert, but reaching out more.
Yeah, if you reach out more, you are more open, so you can reach, well, getting to know people, first thing. In that case, you can intercommunicate with others, you can collaborate with others as well. No, I'm not saying that introverts, they not collaborate or they don't communicate, but if you are a little bit more extroverted that some other people, then you're more exposed to that. So yeah.
Teamwork makes the dream work. All right.
Yeah.
Now bringing back the questions back to home here about UTRGV and the Rio Grande Valley itself.
Okay.
What initially drew you to UTRGV and the Rio Grande Valley?
Well, as I was saying, I got my master's degree from UT. That time it was a Pan American, UT Pan American in 2004. I really like the Valley area. And since then I have been in contact with, as I was saying, my former advisor, Dr. Karen Lozano. We have some collaboration together since then. She, last year, a couple of months before, she told me that there was some job opportunities in the area, in the university. So I applied for, and well, I really like teaching. That's one of my passions, having research. I have some industrial experience as well, about 17 years of experience. And that is something I could bring to the students and contribute more from a more like an industrial perspective, if you want to see it like that. Not just from the books, not just from the theory, but more from the industrial aspects.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. So what kind of opportunities does working at UTRGV afford you? In other words, why make the switch to UTRGV? Does research and lab facilities have something that other universities don't?
Yeah, actually, I think that the exposure to different fields, from academic to industrial aspects. So acquiring knowledge and skills personally and professionally, a huge amount of very nice people, eager to grow and work together. So I think that's a good, and also the values from the university as well. So having this collaboration, as you mentioned, their infrastructure is also important, but I think more than the devices, machinery, the infrastructure is the people. So I think that's one thing that represents UTRGV. And
also, since you got your master's degree from there, it's kind of like a second home to you, you know?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I used to I quote live in the labs for some time during the 2002-2004 years. So, I mean, people is great in the area. I really like that, yes.
You have
That's
roots.
awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
he does have roots. So what would you say to motivate students who don't want to go to your UTRGV just because it's right across the street?
I honestly think that it doesn't matter, honestly, where you go. It matters most how the people is growing and learning. So I think that UTRGV offers a great opportunity for everyone. As I mentioned earlier, people is really nice. They collaborate together with a lot of people as well. And I highly recommend students to at least visit being exposed to the UTRGV system. It could have a lot of interaction with all the campuses as well. So as you mentioned, probably it's right across the street, but well, it's close to home, it's close to where you were
Yeah.
living. So in that sense, I think it offers very good opportunities for everyone.
And I mean, at the end of the day, like every university is across some street, you know?
Exactly. Yes.
So, yeah.
Actually, for instance, if you are in the UT system, you can take, I don't know, one semester at the UTRGV, then another one, you can go to Austin, you can go to Arlington, you can go to that, I don't know. So that's a good opportunity also that the students have. So if you want to get exposure to that, then you can get it from that side.
So UTRGV has been recognized for its many engineering programs. Many students and aspiring engineers enrolled to just try and take advantage of the opportunities these programs have to offer. Because the RGV is a mainly consumer-based economy, what would you tell an aspiring engineer who's looking for local work? Would it be smart for them to move out to another area, or does it depend on kind of other factors as well?
I think that there are many job opportunities in the Valley area and in Texas, for instance, if you want to look at that. From what I know, you can simply go to LinkedIn or any other network that offers Monster Inc. or some kind of websites or companies that offer job opportunities, and there are many there. The thing is, people wants to really go for a job, or what are they waiting? In this case, I think that opportunities are there. It's just a matter that the people takes them and explore, apply their knowledge that they have, and well, basically, I think that would be a smart move, right?
Mm-hmm. Earlier, you mentioned how UTRGV and the Valley itself kind of gives you a bit of exposure into the world of engineering, and I believe that's kind of as true now as ever, especially with kind of SpaceX moving in at Boca Chica and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So,
yes.
What opportunities would you say there are for future engineers who want to look into work in general? Or do you believe that things might change in the future?
One thing that UTRGV offers that I have seen is that they have a lot of internships and co-ops. So basically, at the student level or undergraduate level, people or students are offering the opportunity to go and work actually in industry. So that's something that not everyone has. In this case, that's an advantage that we as a UTRGV offer to the students. So exposure, as I was mentioning earlier, exposure to the industrial way to work, and that is very different from just being a regular student. So being there, putting hands-on into something, that's something incredible. And now with the SpaceX facility in Brownsville or in Boca Chica, as you mentioned, I think the opportunities will be growing. So in some way, investors are looking towards the south of the United States or south of Texas, and there will be great things to come in the near future. So a lot of more companies are gonna bring their facilities to the Valley. There will be a lot of opportunities. So it's time for the students to prepare themselves, because there's gonna be a lot of opportunities now in the Valley area.
So there's a lot to look forward to then.
Yeah.
That's really exciting. And Dr. Taha-Tijerina, what kind of advice would you give to any inspiring engineers who are listening right now to this interview?
I think the best advice I could give them is to be prepared. Prepare themselves in personally and professionally. Not only getting technical skills, but also personal skills, communication, how to, for instance, offer a presentation. I would recommend them to read. That's something that in our times is kind of a missing. Reading just people prefers to watch TV, Netflix, and I don't know if I can say any ads or commercials, but well, people is getting into TVs and other distractions, and then people is kind of forgetting into those other activities. So as a professor and being on this part of the industry also, what I recommend to the young engineers is to prepare themselves, trying to get trained. There are a lot of resources like Coursera or other type of resources where they can get training in specific activities or in specific topics as well. So that's something, instead of just, I would not like to say waste, but invest time into watching a series or a movie or whatever. Invest in that, invest in getting trained and getting knowledge for them. I think that would be a good advice.
And by getting trained, do you mean like internships and stuff, or what do you specifically mean by that?
By that I mean, as I was mentioning, there is this platform, Coursera. There are other platforms online where basically, I don't know, you want to learn how to, I don't know, draw AutoCAD, or how to program in MATLAB. There are different resources available. Most of them are free. Some of them are very cheap. So you can get trained into that technically, and also for personal skills as well. For instance, innovation, communication, how to prepare effective presentations, for instance. Those type of things usually are not as a hard topic in academia, you know. So that's something that is learned empirically for students. So in this case, if they can prepare from now or since down, I think it would be a good opportunity for them.
Yeah, I think it would be best them to start focusing on their career and, like you said, read more books and get off of TV and stuff.
I mean, I understand that this time of the pandemic is very hard for everyone. I understand that, and we need some distractions too, because we have been, I would like to say, locked for certain months, but at the beginning, okay, that's fine. You can get some distraction by watching a movie or whatever, but I think it would be our modus operandi now. So we will need to sit down, think things, and do that in the next, from now on, basically.
Yeah, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
Now, we don't want to end this conversation as we're learning so much, but we do have 2 questions left, just to let you know.
Yeah.
So growing up, were there any hobbies or interests you had that made you feel like they would help you in your career as an engineer? Now you've had experience as an engineer, are there any hobbies that you found beneficial to your inspiring career?
Well, as a hobbies, well, I have many hobbies. My family is one of them. So sometimes from the very little things you can learn. So now I have 3 kids from 8, 9 years. So though they ask me a lot of questions, and sometimes I'm like, okay, that's like, for instance, sometimes they ask me how this thing works, and you as an adult, sometimes you didn't put attention to that, or some specific little thing. So that's something that has been creating a necessity now for me to show them how things work. And this is at the very kids level, but for like an engineers or people that is in a undergraduate school, I think that getting all the curiosity, I think it's something that not just take by precedent, something that someone said it would be like that, right? So in this case, ask yourself why this thing goes in that direction, or why this thing works in that way. I think that's something, something that I have learned from that. Another hobby, as I was saying, in my case, I like to read, in my case, it's technical information or technical papers, social networks, in this case, like LinkedIn. I like to go through there because there are a lot of promotions or information very, very interesting in a technical and personal way. I also like to do that once in a while. And that kind of nurture or gives me some other ideas of experiences from others, and I learn from there as well. So I think that's something I would recommend also for people to do.
So can you end this talk with a sort of story from your times as an engineer, either maybe a eureka moment, a chance you got to work with a very famous engineer, a time where you got to travel for work, or really anything interesting?
Yeah, I think that having the opportunity to know people, it's amazing. So in my case, I was able to shake hands with the Nobel laureate, Professor Robert Cole from Rice University. I was once, and it was amazing for me because this professor, he was riding his bike to the university. Amazing, right? Because everybody is in a car, so he was riding his bike, and he just parked his bike, and I was like, "Hey, are you Professor Cole?" And he said, "Yeah." So I shake his hand. I took a picture with him. He's an old professor, and I was amazed by his. He's very humble, and well, that was something very, very important for me at that time. Also, I think that as a story, one of the things is help to get to help others. I think, as I was mentioning at the very earlier of this talk, everybody needs help and support from someone at some stage of his life. So as I was saying, I receive a lot of help as scholarships and from people, from my greatest advisors here, Professor Lozano, Professor Ajayan. So now what I'm trying to do is me being helped from someone else. So I'm encouraging the students and helping them. Sometimes when you are in an undergraduate, you see things, of course, differently. You see things very easy to do, and but then time goes very fast. So in some way, you will need someone to tell you, you know what, sometimes you're wasting your time, or I recommend you to do this, or recommend you to do that. I think that, well, in my case, that's something I do just by the nature of the person I am, and also trying to help someone. So
that sounds
Perfect.
really interesting. Yeah, that's perfect. Now to end our line talks, we're starting this tradition, and I don't know if you heard about it, but there's this game called the First Thing That Comes to Mind game. And
Okay.
so we're gonna give you a series of 5 words, and you're gonna answer the first thing that comes to your mind after we say those words.
Okay.
Okay, so are you ready, Doctor?
Yes.
Okay, the first word is engineering.
Happy.
UTRGV.
Great.
Okay. Lions.
Fierce.
Okay.
High school.
Preparation.
And the last one is yourself, Dr. Jose Jaime Taha-Tijerina.
Friend.
Aww.
So thank you so much for being here. And on behalf of all the students and staff, we appreciate your time, and we hope that you can visit us soon. So thank you so much.
Yes, for
Thank
sure.
you so much, Doctor.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you so much. Have a good afternoon.
Guys, hold on. We have the lion.
Oh, yes. So
Oh.
we have actually our mascot
Hey,
here
hi.
too.
How are you? Nice.
So he came here all the way to say hi. So we're
Hey,
really
hello,
excited that
Lion.
we were able to
Good.
take this opportunity with you. And it was
Thank
great
you.
talking to you, Doctor.
Thank you
so much, Doctor.
No, thank you. Every time you need help or you need to talk with me, let me know, and I'll be more than happy to be with you. Thank you for the
Thank
opportunity.
you so much.
This interview
Thank
was
you.
great. I
Thank you
loved
so
it.
much.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
See you. Bye-bye.
That is out.
All right. To everyone watching on the YouTube Live, thank you for joining us for our first episode. We'll continue to keep working and bringing you intriguing and exciting guests. Please send us a message if you have any questions, suggestions, comments, or concerns at social.worldscholars@stisd.net. One more time, social.worldscholars@stisd.net. We're looking forward to hearing from you. On behalf of our principal, Mrs. Ortiz, our producer, assistant principal, Ms. Ramirez, and our executive producer, Dr. Villarreal, Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Tune in for episode 2 on April 15th. Thank you, Victoria.